What you're hearing is the sounds of life. Life that we all know, the hustle, the bustle, work 24/7 standard. What you're seeing though is what really life's about. Life really will start here for every single person on this planet. Everyone will die and everyone will start the real life of the akhirah. But the amount of knowledge that Muslims have concerning the process of death and the beginning of this life of the akhirah, is stunning. Just how little we know. The issues of death, the rulings surrounding death, the symptoms of death, the classification of death, what happens in order to try and keep someone alive even, medical treatment, the ideas of life support, the concept of medical treatment and medication. Is it obligatory? Do we need to keep people alive, and how far do we go? The issues of comatose states, the modern methods of keeping people alive just for the sake of keeping them alive. They have no real function. Brain dead, vegetative state, all these phrases. How do we put that into the perspective of the one who saves a life is like the one who has saved all of humanity? How do we marry these principles together? And then on the process of death, what one does to the one who is dying, the rulings concerning the family at that time, the innovations that creep in at that moment, and then post-death, how do we then deal with the body? How do we get it released with all of the legal restrictions in our countries? How do we then ensure that the Islamic ritual of ghusl, of the washing of the body, is done properly? You think about, ask yourself right now, do you know how to do that? The answer is no, guaranteed. You are going to be desperately trying to find someone who does know that. You will be calling a person or asking about a person who you don't know about, you don't trust in their religion, you don't know if they have knowledge, but you've just heard that they actually know how to wash a body. Is that how you treat other aspects of your religion? Of course not. This is an area that we must educate ourselves upon. The washing, the funeral prayer, the various ways of praying the funeral prayer. Who prays the funeral prayer? What happens on the way to the burial? The manner of the burial. Look at this grave right here. We're just used to a hole in the ground, a 6-foot hole in the ground. You look carefully, this has a lahd, a niche, a crack in which the body is placed. This is the correct Islamic manner. Are we allowed to do this in the West? There are restrictions. Some people will allow it. What is it that you try and negotiate? What do you get away with? Do we get away with the lahd to the side, a shaq in the middle? Do we try to use the grave and just use a corner? What are these? How are we going to deal with the priorities at the time where emotions are very, very high? What are the rulings post-death? Then condoling the family, the ta'ziyah. What about the processes that happen after death at people's houses? The innovations. Are they innovations? Are we going in too hard on the concepts of khatams and 40 days and meals and counting date stones and all the concepts and cultural ideas that we all know? There are so many issues around the fiqh of death. And then afterwards, the grieving process. What's the Islamic guidelines with respect to the fiqh of grieving and helping others through it as well? And then post-death, all the fitna that starts with respect to inheritance, with respect to the division of the estate. Wallahi, there are so many issues that are linked to death, and we really have no idea about it. Inshallah, in this class, the last breath, we hope to have a good go at it, inshallah.